Happy New Year to all you claret and blue sorts out there. Thanks very much for subscribing to our channel. You are here with me and Luke watching our preview for the Brighton game. We've come off, ended 2018 in a little disappointment after a fantastic run of games, and we were defeated by Burnley. Obviously, you'll have seen our review for the game, but tonight is the Brighton game, which is the first game of 2019 under the lights of the Olympic Stadium. Wednesday night, 7:45 kickoff. Look, Brighton Hove Albion. What do we know about them?
Well, they're ones to watch out after a little blip against Burnley, and let's face it, we don't do particularly well against Glen Murray, as was proved in the reverse fixture, and they like coming to London Stadium as well as they've proved before. So they're no walkovers. They're doing well themselves, to be fair, this season.
Glen Murray is a worry. Do you like that? That's quite a good little bit of a rhyme, but he
Yes,
is he,
yeah.
he is genuinely a worry though. He's 34, 35, he's doing
Along
all
the
right for
lines,
Brighton.
yeah.
He's a talisman up front, and he does love a goal against West Ham. Um, we went into the Brighton game, and I think it was myself and you done the preview for that game earlier in the season where we got beat 1-0. I personally was extremely cocky into that game, and I actually believe every West Ham fan and West Ham player and manager and owners went into that game extremely cocky, and we got an absolute shock when we were defeated 1-0, and it felt a little bit like that with the Burnley game
Yeah.
from a couple of days ago.
Mm.
What's
Yeah,
Pellegrini?
yeah.
What's Pellegrini? Well, before we do that, what are Brighton going to do? You know, with the mindset coming off of, they're not on a fantastic run themselves. I mean, they got their recent results. Well, they beat Everton obviously
Yeah.
yesterday. That's a great result. So I just lied to you all there because their actual recent matches
You
are all
don't
right.
know what you're doing.
Yeah, Everton. They beat Everton. Before that, they drew with Arsenal, and then before that, they had a bit of a bad run. Got beat by Bournemouth, beat by Chelsea, beat by Burnley. But they're grinding out some results. Before that, they're beating teams in and around them. Um, but what should we fear regarding Brighton apart from Glen Murray?
Well, at the moment, it seems that with our injuries, we're playing with a makeshift team, and anyone that decides to just put even the smallest ounce of pressure on our team, we collapse. And we've done it against Burnley. I think we go into some of these games thinking, "Oh, we'll walk over these. It's fine." I mean, luckily enough, when we've gone one goal down, we normally tend to sort of step it up a bit more and try and get the equaliser and push on from there. But the Burnley game, people can say that it's two away games very close to each other, but the professional football is in the day. You've got to live with that, and I think that it's one of those where you can worry about certain things too much, but fundamentally, if Brighton come up and turn up, we've got to just stop thinking about this. Oh, there's only Brighton, they're only mid-table, we should be doing these. No, Brighton are really looking at us going, well, they had a chance to go seventh. They didn't take it. So they know that they could be a bit physical with us, and we could turn the mustard, we could turn into custard instantly.
Yeah, they've got a young Dutch striker who's been scoring recently. Excuse my pronunciation. Kadia. He's got them the winner against Everton. He's got the equaliser goal to secure them the point against Arsenal. He's a kind of unknown forward, but are these the sort of guys between him and Glenn Murray's that we really need to watch? And obviously, I know you've got your favourite in midfield that plays for Brighton, who you rate really highly. Oh, I'm talking about. Sorry, ignore me. I'm talking about another team. Ignore that.
Yeah, I'll just say that. This is definitely Christmas time. You're forgetting who
Yeah,
what's
mate.
this
I
time,
think I've had
mate.
a few too many drinks. That's it.
Probably
Um,
have. We can blame you.
but the one player, sorry, I was mentioning was the 36 or 7 year old Bruno defender who
Yeah, yeah.
seemed to have us in his back pocket when we played us last time. I mean, what threats? What other threats apart from Glen Murray have we got?
By the way, you pronounced Lacadia a lot better than Paul Merson did the other day.
Yeah.
So you're doing well than that.
What was it he said?
Just everything that wasn't his actual name. So yeah, they just got a whole team. That's the problem with West Ham is the fact that we look at a couple of players, but then there'll be players we don't look at to go and score the goals. We've just got to be, regardless of if it's Bruno, Murray, Lacadia, whoever it is, we've just got to step it up and be on it with every single one of their players, because the moment that we start going, oh, this player, that player, we start to lose the battle. And I think we need to just turn up and just start, really giving it a go from the first minute and just not caring who you are, who the other team is. If we want to start competing in this, do you think the top teams look at these players and go, "Oh, Glenn Murray, he might score against us"? I don't care about it because I know they've got better skilled players for it. But then you get like against Burnley, you had Ashley Barnes and Thingy Woods, who Diop. They made Diop and Ogbonna like school kids. So it's you've got to just try and take on the team as it is, not just individual players. For me, anyway.
Yeah, I do feel like I think sometimes you come up against these players. I mean, it looks like Glenn Murray's kind of coming off the bench, obviously with his old age and his tired legs. But I'm not gonna rip into him too much at all because he's the player I fear the most, whether he starts or he comes off the bench.
Yeah.
Because he's got that history with the club. But I feel a bit different going into this game because I think the loss against Burnley is potentially going to kick if West
We
Ham.
won't do anything there.
It's that reality. It's that reality check though. That reality check that we needed.
Yeah. Yeah. 1,000%.
What does Pellegrini do? We've had Arnautovic come back in side against Burnley. He got a run out. Fans are controversially saying he shouldn't have started, but in Pellegrini we trust. He got 60 minutes. What do we do?
I think in some of these games, like today, you can play too much football, and I think that we've decided a couple of these games to go. We're playing too slowly from the back because we're looking for that nice little simple Hollywood pass through the middle to open up play. And when when you're short in midfield like we are at the moment, it's not going to happen. So sometimes you need to be a bit, direct. You need to be a bit, hard on the tackles, put some pressure in, stop worrying so much about playing tiki-taka football and trying to appease the fans. Because at the end of the day, if you go and lose like you did against Burnley, I'd take watching direct football all day long, as long as it seems more effective. Because otherwise, it's just embarrassing. Otherwise, you get mugged off by these teams who don't know how to play a ball more than certain ways and sort of thing. You get basically passed off the field by teams that don't play that sort of football against you. I mean, I think that's probably Burnley's best game of this season. I don't. Maybe I'm being a bit naive here, but I don't know them for playing really nice football. But they are effective with it, and we've got to try and be like that ourselves.
You look at the stats with Brighton. They don't really hold possession really well against many clubs, but that's something that also West Ham don't do, which makes me think this game's going to have the ability to be an extremely open game.
Yeah.
I don't worry. I don't worry after if we'd have beat Burnley, I worry that we'd have gone into this game again extremely cocky, which is it's funny. You talk about the Watford game. I thought West Ham played really well against Watford. Well, not really well. Sorry, not really well. We didn't deserve the 2-0 loss in comparison to the Burnley game, where Burnley completely deserved that win and they could have destroyed us.
They could have had 5.
Yeah, they could 5 or more, and Fabianski said that. I think it's going to be a really, really open game. It's just, what would you do if you were Pellegrini?
Well, I'd try and, even if he's ill, just try and stick Zabaleta at right back, because as much as I love Antonio, I'm not going to dig him out for having a bad go at right back. We need someone who's got defensive minded still, because he threw the centre backs today. Ogbonna's still brainless, which doesn't help Diop out. It makes him seem, all over the place. Creswell's all right, but Creswell's just come back, so he's still finding his feet again. Yeah. I try and honestly, if you're going to play 4-4-2, you've got to have the players for it. So I think that if we're gonna have like Perez up front, and Arnie up front, and maybe Carroll as well. But I just think we need to pack midfield more. Just stop worrying about scoring 3 or 4 goals at home. We've got to go back to basics now, especially with our injury. So I'd try and pack the midfield, leave out Diangan. I'm not sure Diangan is really Premier League quality at the moment. So maybe Rice, Snodgrass, and I'd be hanging in the middle. I think Noble's slowly on his way out as well.
Do you honestly think that he's going to pack the midfield out against Brighton? Do you think that's something?
I think he should. I don't think he will. I think he'll stick by this attacking emphasis, being at home as well, and trying to make the club the ground a fortress and whatever this season, and try to get most points in. I don't think he will. I just think he should. And I think if he doesn't, Carroll will probably start. Perez will probably start. He'll have Noble and Rice again, or Obiang and Rice. And then maybe Snodgrass or Antonio, but Anderson on the left. But I think that if you're going to change anything, you need to have more compact midfield. But I don't think you'll change it that way. No.
Pellegrini's come out though and said after the Burnley game that he blames the congested fixture.
Yeah, it's bollocks.
Of the winter. But what he did state was that I think West Ham must have got back in at 2 o'clock in the morning, less than 48 hours ago. I mean,
get the old violins out, Pellegrini. You know, you're multi-millionaire footballers. You know, honestly, it's a joke. You look at all the other teams. I'm pretty sure Spurs are the worst fixture list with what the Champions League chucked into their fixture list. They've had no signings all season, and yet they're higher the table than we are. So stop complaining about it.
And you
That's
don't, and that doesn't have you don't, I kind of like your attitude towards that, because I think you're completely right in my opinion. But for the fans that are watching, do you agree with us? Do you think that Pellegrini has a point when he says that the fans are?
I see where it's coming from.
Players are tired and are a bit, but equally so are Burnley. Yeah.
I see where it's coming from, but I just think at some point you got to look at the fact going, like, you're professional footballers. You know you're going to these games away. You know you're going to these fixtures. You've got this plan. This has come up. This is not just like in the next couple of days someone's gone, oh, by the way, you just beat Southampton. Go to Burnley tomorrow, next day. They know what they're doing. They know their travel stuff. They know what's going on. You've got to prepare yourself. You're professional footballers on a lot of money. If you haven't performed, just say you haven't performed. Literally just say, just own up and just say that. But don't start blaming it on, I want to get better in the morning. Drink a Red Bull and get on with it. Seriously, how hard is it?
Do you think this is Pellegrini's second test then with West Ham?
Yeah.
Apart from the start he's had, this is the second test, because when he was with the Man Cities of the world, the strength and depth were extremely high, top quality,
Do you know what?
£50 million players. Now, for the first time, he's having to rely on, with a lot of injuries, and albeit the team's been performing well, but this will catch up with him, and this will show that the strength and depth is okay for the game, but not every game.
Do you know what it is, Anton? It's not even strength and depth. It's about basics, football basics. If you know you're going to an away game and you've got very little at your disposal, the players, you've got a right midfielder, a right back, stuff like that. You go, right, let's park the bus a little bit. Let's try and get a 1-0. Let's try and close them out for the first time. Let's get a 0-0, and let's go and try and nick it in the second half with Van de Carroll up top. Let's shake up a little bit, because at the moment people just look at us. Teams looking at us going, well, we know what they're going to do. They're going to play out from the back, try and play pretty football all the time, and not get anything out of it. Because although, in my opinion, honestly, I think the Anderson goals against Southampton painted over the cracks for me. I think it was a little bit, it was a bit, if he hadn't scored them two, we'd have been looking at a 1-0 loss. So,
Looking at the stats here, Brighton have played 20 games. They've won 7. They've lost 9. They've scored 22. They've conceded 27. Their highest goal scorer is, of course, Glenn Murray with 8 goals, followed by Shane Duff 3. Solomon March 5 assists. Anthony Knockhart, who we know quite well, has got 4 assists. Add that to the mix of players that have been scoring goals for West Ham. Player we haven't mentioned is Chicharito, if he's back. But I want to talk about the defence in particular, because there seems to be a kind of, I don't know, mate. I'll probably get slagged off for calling him out. Ogbonna against Burnley.
No, you're right.
And to be fair, I'll also call out Diop for that game, but I just don't think they've got this partnership, and I really worry that we've seen what Diop is capable of is the weak play.
It's almost seeming like Balbuena was the linchpin of that defence, and Diop was the one who was learning off him, and now you've got a young, suggestible Diop next to a completely clueless Ogbonna at the best of times. It doesn't make for a good combination. So, with any luck, if Fernandes is back, fantastic. This plays with strengths. We're at home as well, but it's going to be like let's hurry up and get Balbuena back. But again, you rush him back, and he can get injured again. So it's one of those.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen. It's the new year. The last thing you as fans want to do is be sitting watching Iron United, Anton and Luke all the way talking about West Ham sort of stuff. You've got parties to go to, food to eat.
They're not going to watch us. Yeah, they're not going to watch us. They're going to be out partying and drinking and say, what are these mugs talking about again?
So listen, do you agree with us? Make sure you get the comments in below, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Just let us know your opinions, because you know what? If you don't write back to us and let us know your opinion, apart from calling me, I think someone today said I need to lose a little bit of weight, but that's fine. I'll take that as a compliment.
They're not wrong.
No, they're not. They're not.
Well,
My New Year's
at least
resolution.
the beard's gone now, so no one can say anything about that anymore. You know.
No, that's cool, mate. It comes.
We're
All the good
not
stuff,
doing
all the
predictions
bad
tonight,
stuff
by
comes
the way.
with us. Yeah, we are. We are going to do it. Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
okay.
I just want to make sure you do hit that. But give us the feedback. Let us know what your thoughts are of the channel. Listen, we massively appreciate you take the time to watch us. We do this, you know, for the benefit of you guys. If anyone's interested, get in contact with us. Do you agree with us that any thoughts on the Brighton players who you think is going to be causing us danger, and who you think and how Pellegrini will set up for them? Look, let's go for it. Predictions. Are we going to start off 2019 the way we finished off 2018, or are we going to eradicate the Burnley and Watford game and fantastic counter-attacking? Oh,
Glenn Murray is going to score in the first 15 minutes. He's going to, all the atmosphere is going to be shit. Second half, we're going to come out and we're going to win 2-1 with a lucky goal from one of their defenders bouncing off, and then 2-1 West Ham. We're going to go on, we'll come back to talk about 2-1 West Ham, Murray for them, and then we'll have a goal from Andy Carroll, and then possibly Rice to say thank you for my new contract and that sort of stuff, you know. Go with that one.
Yeah, I think we are going to get a reaction. I think we're going to get a positive reaction. I still think we will concede. Unfortunately, that depends on who starts in the back.
Yeah.
It's Ogbonna and Antonio starting, and I'm not going to dig out Antonio because I thought he had an alright game against Burnley personally. But if I do fear when Ogbonna starts, I'm sorry, I'm just saying it as it is. If he starts, we'll concede. If he doesn't, and Balbuena's back, then I'm more confident of getting a clean sheet. But I will go for a 3-1 victory to West Ham. I think we get a reaction. I like that number 3 just now. It's feeling confident. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, and let us know your predictions in below. Do you agree with myself and Luke? Just put the predictions in anyway. Just let us know. Why not? Anyway, you've seen our other video for our competition. We have to get to 2,000 subscribers in order to win the away top. And we'll let you know when the competition is run, but we just need to hit that 2,000 mark. So let us know. Anyway, look, any other final points before we go?
No, just have a happy new year. Enjoy yourselves. Anything I wouldn't do or anything stupid.
Which is a lot. Happy New Year. He's Luke. I'm Anton. We're Irons United. Come on, you
Happy New Year. Come